Hey Gemini, I am your astrologer, Wonder Girl, taking you to new heights. Here's your weekly forecast for the week of Monday, December 18th to Monday, December 25th, 2017. Now what's going on this week? First I'm going to start with is a major new moon that actually happened on Sunday, the day before this horoscope starts, that I'm going to talk about first. Now that new moon for you, Gemini, happened right here in Sagittarius, which rules your 7th house of relationships, partnerships, other people coming in here. Okay, bringing up a major new beginning when it comes to the other people in your life and what you do with other people and how you interact with them. Something new that's different, that's changing for better or for worse, that you're going to have to commit to in a major way. Okay, that's because it is a new moon, and new moons do bring new beginnings there. Okay, I don't think that this is just some kind of new thing though, that all of a sudden just crossed your mind or all of a sudden just happened. I think this is something that's been going on for quite some time, that you've been thinking about, that other people in your life have been thinking about, that's just now starting to come together here in your relationships, that's new, that's different, that you're having to start to commit to in some big way. That's because this new moon was very closely conjunct to Saturn here at the very last degree of Sagittarius while this is happening, and because Saturn has been in Sagittarius for 2.5 years now, really working this kind of area of your life out. So I think what's ever going on with relationships, some new thing that's going on that's different that you're having to commit to, is something that's been formulating quite some time, trying to come together, that is just now being brought out into the open for you to have to take and to move forward with, okay, for better or for worse. I would like to think that they're positive, but I know I've had a few Geminis lately that have asked me what's going on here with the relationships. They've had a lot of weird things happen in relationships, maybe some people breaking up with them in some way, and whether or not it's good or bad, in all honesty, I think depends a lot on your chart, what's happening here. But there is some kind of major commitment, whether it's good or bad, whatever happens. I think you're definitely going to have to take this thing and like ride with it and ride the wave and move forward with whatever is happening, coming and being a big thing. Okay, now as you're making this commitment to this new relationship thing that's going on, I think you're also rethinking some things from the past, maybe doing a lot of rehashing of the past too with relationships, trying to make sure that these relationships are right for you, that what's going on is the best thing, trying to make sure you're getting everything out in the open, not only with this new moon happening, but with Mercury also retrograde very close by at the same time. So it's a very interesting new moon with it next to Saturn and with Mercury here retrograde, where it's like we have some new commitments and relationships that we need to move forward on, that it is that we need to do in some way here, but still wanting to make sure that we're doing this commitment right, that we've worked out all of the details with our relationships so that we can start to move forward in a way that's better for everyone involved. Okay, and doing lots of thinking and lots of rehashing the past and communicating with people about what's going on. I think a lot of this communication that's happening with relationships here has a lot to do with where the North Node is, with Mercury in a trine with the North Node, which just so happens to also be in your 3rd house of talk and communication, which is kind of an interesting thing because Mercury naturally rules the 3rd house too. So it's like you're doing a lot of communicating about communicating. But I think what's going on here is you're trying to make sure that you have said your piece, like that you have said everything that you need to say when it comes to the people in your life and when it comes to your relationships, so that whatever new thing you're committing to here, you don't have any regrets about it with relationships, that you've said everything that you need to say, that your relationships are and hope that your relationships have taken that into consideration going on. So that's kind of what I see happening, like knowing that you need to commit perhaps to something going on with other people, but trying to make sure that everything is out in the open, so that if you can change someone's mind, you can, so that if you can't, you can't, and so that you can begin to feel much more better, feeling better here moving forward on something, and feeling like you don't have anything to regret, you don't have anything to look back on that's missing, that you didn't say. I don't know, that's just what I'm getting from the chart right now, okay? So that is what is happening there. I think as it's happening, there could be some stuff, again, where Venus is with relationships and also with money that you're trying to work out. Lots of communication about finances, lots of communication about money. Venus too can also rule love and the heart, so lots of communication about what's going on with your heart and what you need to feel comfortable in life. With Venus making a excuse me, a square over to Chiron in your 10th house of career, I think there could be some uncomfortable things that could come up with other people. Maybe some of these conversations are hard. Maybe they're, maybe they just don't feel right when it comes to where it is that you want your relationships to go. I think you're trying to commit to new relationship chapters here. You're trying to make sure that all the details are worked out, that everything has been said, and that also with the square to Chiron here, that they're pointing your life in the right direction. They're giving you the reputation or the social standing that it is that you want. And you could feel a little bit uncomfortable as you're making some big commitments here to relationships that they're just not good for your career, or they're not good for where your life is going in some way, and still needing to commit to the new relationship chapters anyways, whatever it is that they may be, and really going in that direction. And I think if you can commit to these relationship chapters, trying your best to get comfortable with them and to bring everything together, it's then going to help you here where Uranus is in your 11th house to envision new goals and dreams for yourself. Since the 11th house rules your goals and your dreams, to see a different future of yourself than you saw before. And I think that's what's coming in here, is that these relationships that you're committing to may not be, you may not feel are the best for your career or your social standing, but they're ultimately going to help you express yourself more authentically, have goals and dreams that are better for you, and really create a life and envision a life that I think is going to help you later on put your life in the right place, okay? And really having to overcome some of these hard feelings so that you can move forward on that. All right, while you're trying to work out some stuff with relationships and figure out how you can envision your future with what's happened, put everything in the right perspective, and move forward, we also do have Jupiter here kind of hanging out on its own a little bit by the side in your 6th house of your job and of your daily routines, making the square to the nodes. So there can also be a lot of stuff going on in regards to your job or what's happening on the day-to-day for you if it's not job related, okay? 6th house also rules health, so it could be health related too. But now that you're committing to relationships and to people and to new chapters with these people, doing something maybe you have not done before here, really having to figure out, okay, what does my job look like? What does my day-to-day look like now that this is going on, now that things are different? What do I need to do differently on the day-to-day in order to accommodate that? And there could also be lots of communication here about your job, about health, maybe the health of one of your partners, or about your daily routine as well, so that you finally can commit to these new chapters and move forward on them. When it comes to a planet here like Jupiter that's in a square with the nodes, we tend to forget about this planet, or we tend to want to ignore it. I think this week a big focus needs to come here as you're committing to relationships, needing to make sure you're changing your job and you're changing your daily routines in accordance with the way that your relationships are also changing, so that you can feel better about them. All right. So that's what's happening there, and all of that is going on at the beginning of the week from Monday to Thursday. Okay, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to talk about the end of the week, when things change quite a bit, and all of this stuff is going to happen from about Thursday to the following Monday. And I'm going to go there. Let me first mark you, Gemini. This is you. That's your 1st house, just so you know. And just to recap, what went on at the beginning of the week is you had a lot of planets here in Sagittarius in your 7th house of partnerships and of relationships, being a major thing. Like I talked about, committing to people, new relationship chapters, going there, working some things out. Well, the end of the week becomes a lot less about relationships and more about building on those relationships with the changes that have come to you through them, okay? Because all of these planets that were together at the very end of Sagittarius, the Venus, Sun, and Saturn, all move in at the end of the week to Capricorn and conjunct right here all together at the 1st degree. And Capricorn rules your 8th house of changes, endings and beginnings as well coming in here. So everything that you've been working out at the beginning of the week then becomes more real and becomes more serious at the end of the week, where it's not so much figuring out what's going on with your relationships and where they're going and what direction you're taking them in, but it becomes more about making the changes now that you have decided and made decisions about the people in your life. And now that you have made the commitments to them or went back on some commitments. So I think that's what's coming in here, is really beginning a time for the next few days, weeks, months, even years, with Saturn here in your 8th house, of really having to end and begin things, to either end relationships, begin new ones, and to get really deep and messy with people. That becomes a big focus. And so that's why you want to make sure at the beginning of the week that you have taken care of all of your questions with relationships. You have said everything that you need to say, so that at the end of the week you can start in a really big way to act on some of these changes that you decided that you needed to make with other people earlier. Okay, so that's what I've got going on for you, Gemini. Your card for the week is the King of Cups reversed. This is actually a card, emotions being everywhere, not having emotional control going on. Either your emotions are out of whack or someone else's are here. And I think you're doing your best to control your emotions, to honor your emotions, to understand your emotions here so that they don't get the best of you. And I think if you can pay attention to what is going on inside you, and if you can do the best to give them a voice in a way that is a little bit more organized, I think that will help you big time to really begin to move forward and to make some big changes here that are starting to come for you in a really big way. All right, so that's what I've got for you this week, Gemini. Thank you so much for watching my horoscope. If you like it, please like it on YouTube, subscribe to my channel, share with your friends, and I will talk to you later.